Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the thorough newspaper analysis for 16th August 2022. Today, we have an editorial article which has been taken from The Hindu and has been authored by R.K. Vij. And the title of the article is The Shackles of 1861 Need to Go. This basically talks about the criminal laws that has been prevalent in India since 1861, although amendments have come in after that and those have been significant amendments. Still, the nature of the criminal laws do have a post colonial hangover in them. And this article talks very in a very detailed manner about the same. Following that, we will have the news update and the legal news, which you know are a part of LawSikho's initiative to keep the students and readers updated with the current affairs that is happening in and around of India so that they have a competitive edge when they sit for their exams. So, for the first article today, the shackles of 1861 need to go. On the eve of India celebrating its 75th independence, the police continue to be under public scrutiny, and often they are under the public scrutiny for very antagonistic and negative reasons. Now, to correct such stigma, the criminal laws which were created back in the colonial times have to be refurbished thoroughly. Now, the question may arise that have they not been refurbished? Well, in that regard, changes have been introduced to the criminal laws of the country, and to surmise some of them, they are the Probation of Offenders Act was brought in 1958, and the same had been brought with the objective to reform offenders rather than punish them. Similarly, in order to curb dowry, which is one of the greatest social evils that was prevalent and is still prevalent in India to some extent, the Dowry Prohibition Act was passed in 1961. Further, the amendments of 1983 and 1986 in the Indian Penal Code brought forward Section 498A, which is a provision against cruelty by husband and his relatives on the wife, and Section 304B, which talks of dowry death, along with other amendments that were introduced in the Evidence Act with regards to the same. The Scheduled Castes and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocities Act was also brought forward in 1989, and the definition of rape was made wider, and the offenses related to sexual assault was made tougher. Now, on that regard, comprehensive laws such as the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 and the Juvenile Justice Care and Protection of Children Act 2015 were enacted to specify crimes and bring stringent actions against the offenders while also protecting children from the harms of the society. Now, the constitutional courts in this regard have laid down very far reaching verdicts, such as one of them could easily be Section 377 of IPC was decriminalized, giving the much needed freedom to the LGBTQ plus community. Further, custodial torture and sexual assault of women who were held in custody was held to be against the fundamental rights, and the police was strictly taken to task for such actions. Even the sedition charges under Section 124A, which has been an issue of constant hue and cry amongst activists, have been now curbed by the SC so that the same can be decided on a case to case basis and mostly be done away with. However, even after the installation of CCTV cameras, such judicial reforms, restraints in the use of handcuffs, and bringing in a lawyer during investigations, the police continue to lose the faith of general public. Now, serious attention is the need of the hour in order to address such impending issues within the police force. While it is true that in order to change some of these impending issues, there would be the need to flush a lot of capital into the same, most of the trust deficit that is faced by the police today can be bridged by conducting impartial investigation and use of proper soft skills. So, with this note, we move forward to the news updates for today. Firstly, we have the sad news of Rakesh Jhunjhunwala passing away. Now, the veteran stock investor and newly launched Akasha Air founder Rakesh Jhunjhunwala passed away in Mumbai following a prolonged illness. He was 62 at the time of passing. Jhunjhunwala was known as India's Warren Buffett for his ability to pick up low priced quality stocks much before they became high performers. Secondly, Srinagar to get Gaurav Stambh. Describing Jammu and Kashmir as the land of Mother Saraswati and enlightened dream of Chaitanya, Lieutenant Governor Manoj Sinha, in his Independence Day speech in Srinagar, said a Gaurav Stamp would be established in Srinagar in the memory of the brave soldiers who have sacrificed their lives defending our beloved motherland. Thirdly, India gifts Dornier aircraft to Sri Lanka. India gifted a Dornier maritime reconnaissance aircraft to Sri Lanka, which will now enable the island nation to tackle multiple challenges like human and drug trafficking, smuggling, and other organized forms of crime in its coastal waters more effectively. Fourthly, we have Kenya's William Ruto declared president-elect. Kenya's elections chief declared Deputy President William Ruto to be the winner of a tight presidential race. But some senior election officials disowned this result, fueling fears of widespread violence like that which was seen before in the previous disputed polls. For the legal updates today, we have a revision petition filed before High Court by third party de facto complainant maintainable. Now, the Supreme Court in the case of Honnaiah TH versus the state of Karnataka held that a revision petition filed before a High Court or a Supreme Court by a third party is maintainable. The power of revision can be exercised by the High Court even suo moto, and hence there is no bar on a third party to invoke a revisional jurisdiction. Secondly, we have even encroachers are protected from state action which violates procedure established by law. Now, the Jharkhand High Court, in the case of Suresh Tirkey versus the governor with connected matters, recently held that the right to shelter is a fundamental right, and any infraction by the state upon the same will invite judicial intervention so that the occupants of a dwelling house are protected. So this was all for today. For free study materials and TNA PDF slides, please join our Telegram channel, the link of which you can find in the description below, or you can always scan the QR code given on the screen. You can also join us on our official Instagram channels, which are LawSikho.Judiciary, LawSikho CLAT Prep, and UGCnet_LawSikho. For any further information, please feel free to visit www.lawsikho.com. Thank you.